Well, here we are, episode 6, Better Late Than Clever. They do come round. And of course, we all know the event that is approaching at great speed, and that is next Thursday, the 6th of June, which was D-Day, the Normandy landing. And this is like a little trailer for it. So what I'll show you now is what I've prepared, because I'm not quite from before the war, but in the middle of it. And this is a little, synopsis of the family events. As you can see from the picture at the top, it's a wedding celebration. They're coming, I think, from the registry office. And Charlie is the guy, and Sarah, or Sadie as she was known, is the lady. And after that wedding ceremony, Charlie decided that she would be safer in Cardiff. I think safer from the bombs or safer from the Americans. I can't quite make my mind up. And so they moved down to his parents. And then Charlie, who was an excused occupation, applied to get in the Air Force. Didn't make it, but on the way out of the office, met somebody who knew he was quite a handy scrum half. And so took him back in the office and enrolled him in the Air Force, for which he spent the time on aircraft, not fighting or flying, on aircraft, mechanic, and of course playing rugby. And then down to 1942, when at 33 Sloper Road, his mother's house, there was that event that you saw in number 5, which was me playing on the stairs when I was 5 years of age. So that's what we're doing. That's a little introduction to it. And you'll notice in the couple of interviews today that there are odd mentions of it. If you have any experiences of this nature, of any other nature, please do get in touch. We've also decided that a very good running commentary would be something my mother said. Now, you probably, maybe if you're young, something your grandmother always said. You know the type. If you fall off that wall and break your leg, don't come running to me. That's what we want. Send them in. You will probably have to send them to Charlie Newman. If they're a little selfie, you all know how to make selfies. Don't go to the phone and all that. If you send them to Charlie Newman on Facebook, then we can include them as a little video in Better Late and Clever. We're going to look at somebody who spent quite a bit of time in the United States, which was a bit of an adventure for someone who she classes herself as a home bird. And then we're going to take, I think it's the oldest so far contributor, was 89 years of age. So she remembers something that she did in the war quite well. So there you are. I've seen the introduction to next week's celebrations, and there are going to be plenty, I'm sure. I don't really have street parties that they used to have. The first one we're going to take a look at is the Great American Adventure. Somebody from this country moved out to the States, and it was another British invasion, really, because she did quite well when she was out there with her husband in I think California it was. Well, this is Rosemary, and the noise in the background is a cackle of women, but we'll put up with that. And we're going to talk. She's going to talk to us this morning about a very interesting American adventure. Over to you, Rosemary.
Good morning, everybody. Now, I wasn't a mover at all. I'm a home bird, but my husband loved to travel. So we went on a holiday to America, and we stayed there a year. With 6 months visa, then we applied for another. And then we came back and applied for green cards.
Oh, where was that? Where were you in America then? The first year?
Virginia Beach.
Oh, lovely.
Down the bottom. Anyway, we came back home and applied for green cards, and that took 5 years.
Oh, God.
And eventually we got over there. We moved to Virginia Beach to live with James, my husband's sister, for a while. And then we rented a place of our own, a mile from the beach.
Oh, lovely.
So for a year, I met some English people that were over there. her husband was working for a company over there. So we used to walk every day on the beach, her and I, 3 miles every day. And then when the year passed, we came back, applied for green cards.
Did you have a house there or a condo?
No, we rented. We rented a house for a year.
Oh, right.
That first one, when we were out there first. And then we came back and applied for green cards to emigrate. And it took us 5 years to get our emigration cards to go.
Yeah.
So off we went, packed our home up, rented the house out, put all our stuff in storage, and off we went. And we went to Virginia Beach, rented a place, and we stayed there for a while. And then we moved up to San Francisco.
What did you do? Did your husband work in America?
Yes, he was a realtor.
Oh, yeah. And
He passed exams.
Did you work?
Not then. That was my break from work.
Oh, your break from work. Huh? That's very nicely put, Rosemary. My break from work. Yes, good.
We had our own businesses. So So anyway, we came back after the year, applied, got our green card in 5 years, and off we went again. We went to San Francisco. My son was living there then in the Sunset District. So we lived with him, and then we moved over to Sausalito. And then, I can't remember it all, we moved around.
Well, of course, it's a long time ago, and it's a lot of stuff.
And then...
You told me something about delicatessen, didn't you?
Oh, yes, then we moved back to California.
Yes.
And,
did you get a nice town? Because everybody in California is
we all
tired,
like cars.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
they
you
are.
can't get about without a car. There's no traffic, buses like there are here. There are buses. We bought a condo. We sold our house in London, bought a condo in Mission Valley, which was beautiful.
We better explain what a condo is.
It's a flat. It's like a flat, but you own it.
Oh, right.
When you own something like that, it's a condo.
Was it in a block?
In a block, brand new,
right.
Just built.
And did you have a balcony?
Oh God, yes. Oh, I love my balcony. We lived out on the balcony. We had all the food out there.
Yeah. Well, the weather there is quite nice, isn't it?
And there's a swing in there. Oh yeah.
So what about this deli?
So anyway, I got fed up. I got bored. So I decided to go to work. Well, I started doing house cleaning to start with.
Oh, right.
Did a couple hours a week, just got pocket money of my own. I've always had my own money, you know.
Yes.
So then I decided, I was doing volunteer work at the hospital.
As well?
Yeah.
But this was your break from work, of course.
Yeah. I can't sit at home. Well, I am now. And then, where did I go then? I did volunteer work at the hospital, and then I got a part-time job in like a Mervyn's, which is like a Marks and Spencer. Then I gave that up, and I went into a deli to work 2 days a week, which I lived opposite the deli. Within a year, I was manager. I had 8 girls working for me.
Oh.
It was not only a deli, it was a store as well, privately owned. And I stayed there for 12 years.
Oh.
In the deli. And then my husband got sick. He's on dialysis.
Oh, right.
So I had a week, him and I had to go for a week, 9 to 5 training how to use the dialysis. There's 2 sets. There's the electric ones and the bags.
Yeah.
And then what happened? He came home.
Oh.
For 6 months. Wanted to sell the house in Sunbury-on-Thames.
Oh, yeah.
So he came home for 6 months. Then I came home for 6 months.
You just said something about your son out in.
My boys followed us over.
Where is he?
The one son now is in Texas. Texas.
Where in Texas?
Plano.
Plano.
It's down the arm coming down, or the leg coming down.
Because I got a bit of a connection with Texas myself. That's why I'm
Oh,
interested.
what have you got?
Houston.
Houston, oh, good God, I got family in Houston.
Lovely city.
Yeah, beautiful. And then, what else?
So around about what time was this? Now, it must have been a long time ago, because to get into America has always been very difficult.
Oh, it took us 5 years.
Yes. And so around about what time are we talking now?
Christ. I was in my 60s, I think. 50s or 60s, 50s.
So what would that be, 30 years ago?
20, yeah, 30 years ago.
So where are
I was
we
out
now?
there 20
That'd be
years.
about 19, well,
I was out there
19
when we,
the Twin Towers went.
yes, I was living in America then. I was watching telly there one morning and watched them go
I was
down.
watching the telly one morning in Brimo, because I had friends in Houston, and I didn't know, because they get about, I didn't know whether they were involved in it or not, but they weren't, thank goodness.
Oh, it was frightening.
Yeah.
Just see go down. Well, we didn't think it was right. We thought it was just a movie.
That's
or
right,
something.
yeah. So would you go back to America now?
Not to live.
And
It's completely different culture. The same language, not even the same language.
no,
really.
it's not. That's right. That's right. So, what was it about it that made you stay there at that time? The difference in there and UK.
It wasn't my decision. My
Oh,
husband's
right.
decision.
But you went along with it and enjoyed it.
Of course,
Yeah.
don't have an adventure in his life. What the hell?
Exactly.
You know, you
Well, Rosemary, that was exactly what we wanted. The American adventure.
thank you.
Now, what I'm going to say to you now is, if you come up with any other ideas of things that went on in your life, anywhere, it doesn't have to be American, as glamorous as that, then we'll do another one of these, and we'll pop that up, because people are interested in better late and clever. Oh, come on in.
Well, one night my friend came to me and she said, come on, get a stool and something warm on and a drink. We're going up to the Indian reservation. So up we go. And it was the teepee, really like you see in the picture.
Yeah.
And the big drums, boom, boom. And absolutely Indians, real Indians.
Yes, yeah.
And we
Native.
sat there and we like that. But it was wonderful listening to their story.
That's right. Amazing.
How they were persecuted.
That's right. Almost annihilated. Yeah, that's right. Cool.
And this was actual Indian ground. There were no taxes. They didn't have to pay American taxes or anything.
That's right.
Because it was theirs. That's the
On
only
the
bit they had
reservation.
left. Of course, because it was theirs, they could have a casino.
Exactly.
Exactly. California wasn't allowed to.
Well, no,
gamble.
do you know the same as in Texas? There's
Same
no casinos and no gambling in Texas except on the reservation with the Indians. Amazing.
Well, that's what we had in San Diego.
There we go.
Right. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, well, that must have been very exciting for them. And I don't think they really didn't want to, but hubby got a bit sick and so they had to come home. And that happens to quite a few people who are abroad, obviously. The next clip with the oldest of our contributors so far gives an experience of how she was old enough to remember something that happened during that Second World War. Listen to this. Right, so we're starting the first interview here down in Caerphilly area, and this is Brenda. And Brenda's going to tell us some amazing stories. Brenda?
The first one I can think of is the one when I didn't get up when the siren went, and because we used to go under a place under the stairs, and we used to have little things to eat, under there, the candle there. And but I didn't go this one night, but I was okay.
Well,
living in Merthyr, we felt a lot safer than a lot of places because Swansea and Cardiff we used to see the barrage balloons in the sky.
Yeah.
And they had it worse than us.
Yeah.
And we used to have a water tank as well at the bottom of the street.
Oh, right.
So I don't know what that was for. It was for if there was any fires.
Well,
like
in
that.
case, it was in case
fires,
they hit the water pipes, and then you would have a
Yeah.
supply. So how long were you in Merthyr for?
Well, I lived in Merthyr till I was 18, till I got married.
And you stayed in
18.
Merthyr for 18, till you were 18?
Yeah, I was brought up, my brothers and sisters, all in Merthyr.
And where did you say it was in Merthyr? Just
Penyard in Merthyr.
whereabouts was that in relation
That
to
was-
Merthyr?
Do you remember the Theatre Royal?
Yes.
It was sort of up a hill from there, and there was 3 streets. There was my street, which was Fothergill Street, and then there was Baden Terrace, and then it was Corporation Street and Darrenville.
Yes, I do
And that
remember.
was Penyard.
That was Penyard. Oh,
And there was Big Tips, the area,
yeah,
where we used to run up and play.
yeah,
Now being all knocked down and it's full of houses.
yeah. Because it was, what was Merthyr? Merthyr was the iron
Oh yeah, that was, yeah.
area, wasn't
But
it?
that was before me, really. That was more my mother and father.
Oh,
remembers
right.
all that, like.
So where did your grandparents and your parents work?
My mother used to work down in at Regent and Vickers doing parachutes.
My mother did as well. Yeah. What
Yeah.
about your dad?
My dad was underground.
Ah,
Yeah, he was a
That
miner.
is dangerous there.
yeah.
Brian
So-
nearly just fell out to the door.
Oh,
So,
there are other people here. Just ignore them.
so they were.
So how old were you when you got married?
I was 18.
18.
I
Which
couldn't
is-
get married. I had to have my father to sign. You see.
That's right. Because it's
You
21.
had to be
wasn't it?
21, so we
That's
had
right.
to. First of all, my dad wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
He said, "Oh, you don't want to marry," because my husband was in the army.
yeah.
He said, "Oh, you don't want to marry a soldier."
Oh no. But
But
he
we
did.
were
He
we
did.
were married for my husband died. We were married for 40 years.
Oh, great.
My husband died, so that was when we lived here. That was 30 odd years ago. And I've
So
been
how
away
did he
since.
manage to get in the army? It was just he signed up. Did he?
wanted to
He
go
was
in
a
the army
proper
'cause-
soldier.
Yeah, he wanted to go in the army because he didn't have a very good life, you know.
Yeah.
Because lots of things, they were very poor, weren't they?
Oh,
Mert?
weren't they?
And
Well, it's still
went-
not. It's still not brilliant even today. Merthyr.
Yeah.
It's a special sort of
Yeah.
show.
But he went into the army from the post office, and he went into the Royal Army Pay Corps,
Oh, right.
and he ended up as a sergeant major. And we had a good life because it was a good life for the children.
Oh,
Very
right. So,
good life.
so what was the tour that he did?
First of all, we went to Reading, and then we went to Yorkshire, York. Then from York, I came back to stay with family while my husband was sent to Singapore, and he was on the Navassa ship,
Oh, right. Yeah.
and he was turned round because the trouble in the Suez Canal at the time.
Yes, there was that.
Yeah, so I didn't go out by boat, I flew out.
Yeah. And where did you join him?
I joined in, what date you mean?
No, where? Yeah. When was it? And where did you actually join back up with him?
Well, I went out to Singapore.
Oh, right.
And I had 2 children then. I had a little girl of 3 and a little girl of 6 months.
But that was a bit of a culture shock from
Yeah,
Merthyr, wasn't it?
yeah.
Singapore.
And my father and my sisters came to send me off.
Yeah.
And they kept saying, don't go, don't go, don't go. They didn't want me to go on the plane, like. So, because they've never been anywhere, like. you
No,
know, so.
no. So, what did you used to work when you were in Merthyr? Did you
I
work?
worked in Casabondas.
Oh, right.
I went
That's,
from school to Casabondas.
that was a factory, wasn't it?
That was a factory in Pentrabach.
That's
But
right.
then it's closed down now.
Yeah, yeah.
And it closed down while I was away because they went to Dowlas then.
Oh, yeah. I meant, no, Dowlas is where I know it.
Yeah,
Yes,
they went
yeah.
went up there then. But,
So- So, where else? Did you stay in Singapore or did you?
I stayed in Singapore for 3 years,
Yeah.
and the children went. The oldest girl went to school there, and
No, were you in the barracks? when you were out there? Or
No, I
you-
went in private
You had private
accommodation. We had a
accommodation.
lovely bungalow.
Oh, right.
And then we had somebody doing our cleaning for us.
Oh,
We
right.
used to have an armour.
Oh.
And that was nice. I was like a lady.
Yeah. The lady from
Yeah, lady
Merthyr.
from Merthyr.
So he did his tour and then out to the army?
Oh no, he didn't come out then. We was in for 22 years.
Oh, right.
So we went from there back home, and I went, where did we go then? We went to Surbiton in Surrey.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But in the meantime, if we didn't get a place, we'd come back to Merthyr
Oh,
and
yeah.
stay with family.
Yeah.
And then when we got our place, then I would go, like.
Oh, right.
And so I had another little girl then.
Oh, right.
She was born up in Kingston.
So I take it that the army life was quite good for kids.
Excellent. We all
Yeah.
found it good. And my children loved it, and they
Yeah.
look back at it. And
Now, were they educated on the army site, or
yeah,
were
we
they?
didn't send ours into boarding school. A lot of people did send
Yeah.
them to boarding school. Yeah, they were on the, we went to Germany,
Yeah.
and my eldest girl went to Queen's School in Germany. She had they all had good education and everything. It was great.
Did any of them stay where you'd been, or are they all back to the
No.
Blighty?
We came back to Merthyr, but my two eldest girls have stayed up there.
Oh, yeah.
One girl is living in Hertfordshire,
Yeah.
and the other one's living in, I think it's King's Lynn. I can't remember because we don't send letters. We just talk on this.
yeah.
Like.
Now, can I ask you a bit of a question? When he first joined the army, how much were they paying him?
I remember because when I moved up, I think it was about £10 or £12, something like that,
A week?
a week. Yeah, and we had ration books,
Oh, yes.
not the ration books.
Ration books. Oh,
Yeah, we had ration books.
And from we were just talking, did you have blancmange?
Did I have Le Mans? But that was when I was young, when I was about 9.
Yeah.
That we'd have the street parties and everything.
Oh, yes.
So I'd moved away from all that then.
Did you go to the street party at the end of the war? Was there street parties when the war finished?
Yeah.
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 You go to them?
Yeah, they were in 1942, is it? 43?
I think it
45.
was 45.
Right,
Yes,
yeah,
that's
so I
right.
think I was about 9.
Yeah.
So I remember.
Yeah. So well, that's it. I missed it. I was 42. I was in. I'm not 40. I was in 1942.
Yeah.
So I was a bit young to see what was
Yeah.
going on. You know. But,
Yeah, it was great.
that's good. And when you came back to Merthyr, did just your husband did 22 years in the army, so he had enough of work. Then he retired.
He
did he?
came out, we came home to home really.
Yeah.
And so we lived in Llanbradach.
Oh,
We
right.
had a house in Llanbradach.
That's just up the road, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then we lived there for about, I think it was 8 years. And then we moved to Pontypool because my husband was made redundant.
Oh, he was working, was
He
he?
was working.
What was he doing?
He was a cost accountant.
Oh, of course, he was in the pay corps, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm beating the Alzheimer's by
Yeah, and we moved to Llanbradach, and yeah, he said, well, I'm never going to get any work now, I'm being made redundant. And he was talking to a pal, and the pal said, oh, why don't you have a pub?
Oh, here we go.
we moved down to Pontypool, and we had a pub
Oh, yeah.
called the Tuna Frood.
What?
The Tuna Frood.
Oh, right.
And we lived there we was in the pub for about 2 years,
Yeah.
and it was a bit of a sad time there, so.
Did you like being a barmaid?
Oh, I loved all that. I loved it, but my husband wasn't well.
Oh, right.
So we
Oh, it's
started
not.
to get not well.
It's not a job to do
No.
if you're not very well. No, that's right.
So we came out of there and moved into the place Abersachen.
Aye.
Near
It's
there.
all round there, isn't it?
Yeah. And we lived there for 8 years. Remember, so in the end, I decided to come back to where, my Caerphilly.
You nearly said Wales then, didn't you?
Yeah. Come back to Caerphilly. And,
Come back to Wales from Abersachen.
Yeah, to be near the children, because 2 of my girls lived in Llanbradach.
Oh, right,
I
yeah.
had 4 daughters.
Yeah.
So 2 of them lived there, so we come back home here.
Yeah, cool.
And because this was British Legion, this is where
Oh, yeah, that's why there's been a change,
this is where they
isn't
put
it? Yeah.
us, because he wasn't well and that.
Yeah. That's great. Did you enjoy that? I did too. We got a couple of people listening. Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay.
I'll say this to everybody. If you think of stuff, and I'd like you to think of stuff, we'll do it. We'll put it down and do it again.
Yeah.
Because what we're doing here, of course, is we're recording real nice histories. That's a lovely story. And it spans a hell of all years as well, doesn't it?
Does,
you know? And it's Merthyr and Surbiton and all that.
Places.
Very, very nice. Thank you very much, Brenda.
That's all right.
And we'll see you again. So there you are. That's today's episode. We will now next week be filming all over South Wales because there are various parties going on to do with the celebration of D-Day. Interesting question for you, which I won't give you the answer. What does the D mean in the words D-Day? Just look it up, you'll find out. It's really very simple. And so please watch out for when we do the actual celebrations of that, because there's parties all over the place, and we look forward to seeing you again on Better Late and Clever.